cool.
So, being passionate about?
Yeah, so you
at my age, I have to.
Yeah, so here's the thing. When you are at the age you're at, okay, and many people are going to sit there and say, oh, I'm too old to start, I missed it, I lost it. If I would have started maybe when I was 18, when I was 19, when I got to school, if I would have went to school for this, gone for that, then I would be able to, be doing what I love to do.
Yeah.
Now, but when you look back at things, the reality is this, is that do you think for 1 second, and think about, businesses that you respect, okay? Think about, I don't know, like every business that you respect, like Apple, let's say, right?
Sure.
Who founded Apple?
Steve Jobs.
Okay, so you got Steve Jobs, right? And I think Woz and Jobs, right?
Yeah.
Do you not think for 1 second they sat there and they said, "Oh my God, like we're crazy. Like this is not something like, we're going to do this."
I think one of them definitely thought that.
Yeah, we're going to start in the garage and do all this kind of stuff. But every single person that you're going to work for, every company you're going to work for, all started the same way. And you know what that way was?
What's that?
Somebody had a passion to do something, and they took a risk.
Yeah, wow.
Everything's a risk. There's a big difference between people that are not, that own a business, or people that run a business, or, and the other, and someone who doesn't. And that really is that they just had more guts.
Yeah.
Like, it's true. I mean, it really, honest about truth. And I always, you always think about, when do you want to be in your passion? When do you want to, how long do you have? When can I get there? And what can I do to improve it? And yeah, you do some side hustles and everything to try to get there. And that's smart. It's smart to do it. The thing is, though, as you get older, as every year goes by, it's harder and harder and harder and harder and more expensive to take that risk.
Yeah.
Right. So we put it off. Like, okay, you know what? I'll get there. Or I'll do my side hustle. I'll try a little bit more. I'm going to go this way. I'll try to figure it out that way. And every year goes by, and it's harder and harder and harder.
Yeah.
And there's more responsibilities. There's more things. When I was your age,
when you were my age, I think you already had risen to the top of a few major companies.
Well, I got lucky on a couple of things, and I, but I had to take some major risks. I was working in a city for a company that I just detested. I hated it, and I had an offer to. I had two little kids. I had a baby, like month old, and a 4-year-old. And they said, sure, you want to move? I was in Winnipeg, and they offered me a job in Calgary. Same money, right? I'm like, oh, okay, in Calgary is more expensive to live, all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. Quit my job, packed up my car and left. And I came back. They flew me home every 4 weeks to see my kids. And it was difficult and it was hard, but it had started establishing, what I wanted to do. It was a big risk. But, I spent in the corporate world, I went from when I was 18, 19, 20 or something like that to when I was about 35, and I made my way up all the ranks of all the other thing, and I was just miserable. I mean, I was making good money, and I had a nice home, and I had, my kids had whatever they. What in the world was that?
I'm not sure.
Do you hear that? It's like a doorbell. Anyway, so but I was miserable, and you know what? I kind of there was a stage came in time. This moment in time came, and I went, you know what? I'm 35, and I'm never gonna have this opportunity again. And I just I said, I'm out of here. And I quit my job and sold my house and moved my family, my little kids. To Florida. I always wanted to live in Florida. I'm like, why can't I live in somewhere warm?
Right.
I always wanted to live where people paid to vacation.
Yeah.
Right? Like where I could say, you see the planes coming into Orlando?
Yeah.
And all these thousands of dollars they're spending for 2 weeks to come here to this beautiful, warm place.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I live here.
I've often thought about
it's my backyard. Why not?
Yeah. It's interesting. I wonder what my ancestors were thinking when they moved this far north in the planet to set up. I guess there was an economic reason for that at the time. I don't know if it exists anymore for me, but
my great grandfathers and all them on my mother's side came from Hungary.
Okay,
and they came to LA.
Really?
They went from Hungary to LA. Like they ended up in New York,
Right.
and then from New York to LA.
Nice.
Right. And I'm like, okay, so they're in LA, all these Hungarians in LA. And all of a sudden they heard, oh, there's this place called Saskatchewan, Canada, and they're giving away free land.
Oh, we got to get there.
And they left, and hence here I am in the cold prairies where I could have been in LA. It could have been, like where the stars are, that kind of thing. But you know what? Again, you think about those times too. There's risk. There's families moving, from countries and into new countries and coming and not speaking the language and not even knowing what's going to happen, and yet they were okay with, like, they knew it was going to lead to something better, right? And they were willing to risk everything and have nothing. Like, that's the thing. The other thing too, it's not just about taking the risk of stepping out and doing something on your own, or stepping out and doing something. It's taking the risk but then being able to pay the price for that risk. Okay. So you think about this. People coming to a new country, not speaking the language, hard, no jobs, no family, no friends, right? But they know it's going to lead to something better.
Right.
So they're willing to pay the price and maybe not live high off the hog for a while. So it's going to be hard. They're going to have to fight, scrape, and for every penny they can to survive. Yeah. But they don't look at that today. They look at surviving. They look at, it's okay. Because in 5 years, you watch where I'm going to be. I'm going to be way better than I was back over there.
Yeah. And
so when we look at ourselves and our careers, our jobs, and everything else that we're doing, it's so hard for us not to look at today.
Yeah.
Right? And we're like, okay, but tomorrow I leave today, and tomorrow I have nothing. No security. I have nothing. What am I going to do? What happens if, right?
Right.
But everybody who started a company went through that. They'd had to take a risk at some point. And so they start and they step up because they know at the end of the day, in 5 years down the road, they're going to be in a much better place. And you can look back on people that have that same kind of risk, challenge, change moment, and you get there 5 years down the road, and you look back and you'll see the same people complaining about the same job they hate, complaining about the same boss that doesn't respect them, complaining about all this crap, because they are worried about today, and they're getting what they got, they're getting what they asked for. And you know what? They laugh at you. They think you're nuts, because it's going to be like, why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you take such a risk?
Three times now. 3 times in my life, I have walked away from a high-paying role, big job with teams underneath me, because I just became dissatisfied. And I always said to myself, I want to be happy, right? I want to provide for my family. Yes, I want to, nice things, but I also want to be happy. And I get to the point where I'm not happy anymore. I'm just not happy. And I literally have 3 times now have left this career that I was rising up in the company with, and got high, and just said, I'm not happy. And everybody thinks I'm nuts. Like, I mean, nuts. Like my family, no one talks to me for the first 3 months. Because they think, they think you're irresponsible. They think that you don't care. They think, they think they're going to be responsible for you, so they stay away a little bit, whatever.
Wow.
But I'm on my 3rd round here, and I'm doing okay. I'm like, you know what? I drive my Jeep. I always wanted a Jeep. I have a Jeep.
Yeah.
This is number like the 3rd time I've started from 0, and just it's hard in the beginning, but as you go through it, it's so worth it, man.
Yeah.
It's just, oh my God, because you're doing something you love to do.
Yeah. And that's got to be better, like 100%. Oh. It seems like
you'll live longer too.
Yeah, that's
you'll live longer. You'll live a lot longer because you're less stressed.
I love that. Speaking of living longer, maybe this isn't the section of the podcast, but I know last week you asked me to make myself a morning mantra.
Yes, I did.
And
did you do it?
I did that. Yes,
Jesse, you're the man. Good for you.
I was so ashamed.
So proud of you.
I was so ashamed last week that my failure. I had to
make
sure.
I love it. I was almost scared to ask. I was like, okay, well, I want to hear it. So remember, if you didn't listen to last week's podcast, right? We were talking about not making excuses, but it's also getting up and getting in the right frame of mind to live a good day. And so I challenge you to write some things down, and that'd be the first thing to look at in the morning
before I took on any news or social
negative
media
stuff. Yeah. Okay, now, so you did it.
I'll say first before I go through them here with you. I'll say honestly, last week there were probably 2 days that I either forgot or was whatever, something came up and I just kind of jumped out of bed. But I did go back and I made sure that every day, as soon as I remembered it, I went and looked at it. Even if I had, like, one day I'd already just gotten to work and had coffee and I was like, oh shoot, I totally forgot.
Yeah.
So I did do it.
Awesome. Good for you.
And yeah, so I was thinking I'll just read them to you.
Please, yeah.
And I would love your feedback on if they are good goals.
Okay.
So some of them are goals, some of them are just gratitude statements.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay, so number one is, I'm excited to buy these balloon tickets for this once-in-a-lifetime experience with my dad.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold the phone. Okay, I was really nervous to ask you about this.
Okay.
But I was even more nervous to ask you about the other thing. So we've been having this talk about you buying these balloon tickets.
Yes, this is the third part.
And so last week we didn't do it. So this week we were going to do it, and
I did it. I 100% did it. Yes.
Fantastic.
I was terrified, but also committed to this.
Right on.
So I did get them. It was my dad's birthday, and I presented them to him. So
that's amazing.
So just to clarify, I got him a gift card and not physical tickets.
Yeah.
Because with schedules and stuff, I didn't want to get something.
No, it's perfect.
So when the time comes, we will revisit this when I actually do it.
Yeah, we will.
And
because I want to go film it.
Yeah.
Good for you. That's awesome.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
All right, cool.
I'm terrified.
Man, you're like 2 for 2 now.
I'm telling you.
This is like your day, man.
I'm doing it today. I'm doing it today.
You're amazing. You're amazing. Okay, so you're excited. So you got upset. I'm excited to get these tickets for my dad.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay. So that was, I guess, kind of a goal. I think that was sort of like a positive statement.
It's a positive statement.
It was a reinforcing of my goal.
Absolutely.
Okay, so number 2 was, I'm grateful for my parents and their wisdom. That was just sort of a statement to put me in the right state of mind. Third one is, I'm grateful for my girlfriend and her patience.
Oh,
another one.
Nice one.
Because I was kind of thinking, I want to start the day. I feel like so many of your I don't know, I heard it once somewhere. If you can, get those interactions with the immediate people in your family, right? Yeah. That's like that's like 90% of your interactions in your life is like.
Absolutely.
So I was kind of in my mindset of, I'm obviously going to be seeing my parents around, obviously going to be seeing my girlfriend every day.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I'm at least I want to step into that conversation being grateful. So that
for you.
I want to step into that conversation being grateful, just so that whatever, it benefits everybody.
That's fantastic.
Fourth one is, I will live in the moment and appreciate my surroundings.
Love that.
Now, this is something that you had kind of given me advice on, talking about how I'm always looking too far down the line, and part of being happy is just living right now and experiencing what's going on.
Yeah.
So thoughts on that one?
I love it. That's fantastic. It's exactly live in the moment, live in the day, right? Yes, tomorrow's coming whether you think about it or not, right?
Yeah.
But don't miss what happens today. Don't miss opportunities. Don't miss the chance to smile. Don't miss, smell the roses.
Right.
I remember we said the only thing that's not guaranteed is tomorrow.
That's right.
Right? So you never know. So enjoy your day. But I think that's great.
And then the final one is, I will make healthy choices for my body so I feel good and live longer. This is more geared towards my gym goals and healthy eating habits for myself.
I love it.
So those are my 5 morning mantras, I guess you can say. And I guess I can replace this top one.
That will get me wiped off now.
Yeah, and I'll have to, I guess, replace that. So now is this something you want me to continue?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, man. I think, absolutely. Now, if one of them is good and you're feeling good about it, and even the other ones, then take it off the list and add another one. If you're like, hey, you know what, I can do 6, then leave it on there and add another one, right? But let's always add to it and remove ones that have no applicable thing to it. But what I don't want you to forget.
Okay.
You don't want you to forget is actually, I'd like you to take that balloon one and change it now.
Okay.
And in the morning wake up and say, I'm proud of myself.
Oh, okay.
I'm proud of myself.
I like that.
For going ahead and buying the tickets.
A bit of a reward for myself.
Yeah, you have to reward yourself. You have to reward yourself for doing things that were kind of, pushing your boundaries, that were stretching you.
That's kind of nice, because then as I clear things off, it's like, nice, tomorrow I'm going to get a very positive message to myself about completing this.
Yeah, right. So that's the thing. That's the trouble that we have, right? We have a goal, or we want to do something. We push ourselves to do it, and we do it, and it's done.
Mm-hmm.
It's over.
Yeah.
And we don't look back and say, hey, man, that was pretty good. I deserve, right? I need a cookie. I get a cookie, right? You'll never ribbon,
I like that, yeah.
But you have to reward yourself. So that's, even for a week now, leave it in there until you really start feeling like these things you're saying to yourself to start feeling them and really feeling them and really believing them and really taking hold of them. So let me ask you this: when you did it, how did you feel? Like, did you feel weird in the morning doing it, or did you feel different or strange, or?
You're talking about the mantras.
Yeah, like when you get up, you read them first thing.
I think it depended on the day. If it was a day I got good sleep, I was up and I was thinking, okay, I'm going to start my day now. I'm going to take I would pick up my phone and then, oh wait, yeah, I got to look at my notes. Let's take a look at this. And I was like really into it. And I'll be honest, there was like a day or two where I didn't sleep as well or whatever, and I was just like, hey, I'm just going to look at this.
Yeah, exactly.
But overall,
that's enough.
It was good though, because you're totally right. It was. I'm not going to open my phone and the first thing is going to be looking at the news and what terrible things happened overnight in the world. But I'm going to start off like, okay, let's start locally with myself. Yeah. Let's do like a little check-in almost.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm proud of myself. Mm-hmm. I'm happy with, I'm happy for my parents' wisdom. I'm happy for my girlfriend's patience. I'm keeping my goals. I'm doing all this stuff, right? And really you're reinforcing it yourself, but you're also showing yourself that it's the most important thing to you.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Like it's the first thing.
Yeah.
Right? What's important you gravitate to. Mm-hmm. Like what you think's important.
For sure.
Right? What you think's important is what you get to, right? So so many people think their Facebook account or their TikTok or YouTube is the most important thing. So they get up and the first thing they do is check their Facebook or check their TikTok.
Right, yeah.
And you can watch what people do and you can see what is the most important thing in their life.
Totally.
You can really and that's where you start to see it. So what you want to do is you want to put you as number one. Mm-hmm. Not your friends on Facebook and see what they did last yesterday. Right. You're number one.
That's just going to lead to fear of missing out.
Yeah, it's like
they went on another cruise. Oh, that's nice.
Oh yeah, well, and they say it's the insta happy, right? Like it's no one puts their they do now, especially on TikTok. They put the crap on the crap that they're going through. But in the old they did everything. You're comparing yourself to like their best moments
it's
ever.
Like a curated moment for you.
Yeah, it's like okay, they're fighting at their birthday party or wedding. Everybody's mad at each other. Someone spent too much money. Someone didn't bring the right gift.
Right.
The food was cold. Everybody's mad, and then they go, "Oh, we need a picture for social media." And they go, and then that's what you see. Like, oh my god, I should have been at that one. Mine sucked. Everybody fought.
Oh man, what a new interesting problem or issue for people in this generation to now take into as part of it. I mean, I guess maybe that always existed to some extent, but. Yeah, it's just in your face every day. It's something.
It never existed to the extent we had Polaroids. Like I couldn't go on and see what.
Are you telling me your friends did mail you Polaroids every morning to look at?
Like you could get them to see what happened to your friend in another country. Then we'd have to wait for the mail.
It was a postcard. That was
it was a postcard. Like, oh my god, they're in Hawaii. Yeah. And when they come back, they're going to bring their slides.
Yeah. And
we're going to put a projector up, and we're going to watch them on the wall. All those slides, chink, chink. Cha-chink. So it was the whole night experience. So,
man.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, man. It was a crazy time. Crazy time. Well, that's fantastic. So let me ask you, how was your week this week?
It was okay. I guess ups and downs. I guess I'm a little, I don't know, should I talk about my job, I guess? Is that kind of what you're asking?
Sure, talk about your job. Is that what you want to talk
about? Sure. I'll talk about my job. Well, we kind of covered it a little bit, but I guess I was feeling a little uninspired at work. I guess is kind of where I was coming from. But okay. I don't know. I mean, if that's something you still want to continue to explore.
You know what? I think I was going to add something to that first. What I was going to say is that if you're feeling uninspired at work, right? No matter what your boss is like, because here's the thing. There was a time when you were inspired, like when you took the job. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, okay, I can do this. They're paying me. I signed up for it, right? Like you accepted the position. So there must have been something like, okay, you either saw an opportunity or you saw something that was going to work for you. But the thing is that again, if you're not doing something that you really love to do, and the worst part is when you're playing around on things like this that you really, really enjoy, it makes it harder.
Definitely.
Because you're going like, that's what I want to do for my living. Like that's what I want for my life. Right?
Yes.
And we were talking about, the Bill Gates. We're talking about, we didn't talk about this. No, we didn't talk. We talked about Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs.
I'm sure Bill Gates had a lot of risk in the work too.
I'm sure there was. Yeah.
But here's the thing that, when you're in a position in life that you can live the most modestly, right? Okay. To get to where you want to be. Mm-hmm. That's a brilliant opportunity to try.
Yeah.
Because, again, what's the worst thing that could happen?
To me or to anyone?
Let's say you said, you know what, I'm going to leave this job because
Yeah.
I'm uninspired. I don't like it. I don't, it's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to do this thing, starting tomorrow, and I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to put my passion into it for, whatever. I'm going to hammer down,
Right.
and I'm hoping it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like anybody who starts their own business. Like, hey, I got this widget that I'm going to sell. I'm going to sell it on Amazon, and I put it up there, and it better sell, right? Like it's like it better sell. But again, in the moment in time that you're in right now, what's the worst thing that could happen to you if you did that?
If I just said,
screw it.
I'm going to throw my hands up at like my daily 9 to 5 and just sort of
what's the worst thing?
Unapologetically attack what I want for myself.
Yeah, all in. I mean, you got to go hard though. You got to go hard.
Got to go hard. I guess money comes up immediately because I have responsibilities monetarily, like I think everybody does. But I think that's it. I think
What's the worst thing that could happen?
I could fail, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could. Yes, that's true. And it might not work. I mean, but here's the thing. You go to the pub, it might not work.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just say it didn't work. Okay. It didn't work. So you're like, okay, that's it. I'm going to try it. And let's say it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Now what?
I guess I have to get up and try something else now, right? Like that's
which you would be doing anyway tomorrow.
Yeah.
So in other words, if you lost your job tomorrow, you'd have to go and try to find another job.
Yeah, you're right.
You'd be going through Indeed or all the different things, and trying to see where this job is. So all you're doing is you're delaying the same process.
It is the same thing.
And yet there's this opportunity where if it does work?
It could be my dream job, and it could pay off amazing.
Let's say it's 50-50.
Right.
Let's say it's 50-50.
I flip that coin.
Because the thing is like, especially in your when you're talking about your role and your job and maybe somebody do this and that, it's from my sense, and I could be wrong, but it's not your career. It's not where you're saying this is my career. I'm going to be at this job for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So you know what? Then balls to the walls, man. Maybe it's just time to say, you know what? I sense an opportunity.
Yeah.
It feels like I can do. It feels like if I put this effort in, it will be rewarded monetarily. Monetarily.
Yeah, you're right.
Monetarily.
Yeah, you got
monetarily. It will be rewarded, and I need to take that risk.
Yeah.
Right. If I don't, not saying that it won't get to where you want to go, but it could be a slow burn where you're working another job or you're working something else and doing it at the same time.
That could potentially never happen too.
And it may never happen.
Yeah.
It may never happen. But the bottom line is this, is that like when I left my last role, like literally left, I walked out and with nothing, no guarantees. I didn't even know what I wanted to do yet.
Really?
Oh, I didn't know.
You just knew you didn't want to be there.
I didn't want to do it. I wanted to help people. I wanted to, I want to change the world, man. And I wasn't changing the world. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
And I want to help, change the world one person at a time. I mean, it's so cliche, but I really do. I just want to help people. So I came home and, okay, what am I going to do? You know what? I'm going to open a YouTube. I didn't have a YouTube account.
Right.
I never even watched YouTube. So, okay, I'm going to open a YouTube account. I took a day and I figured out how that worked. And then I had to go borrow a camera like this so I could film it. I think I borrowed your camera and your mic and a light. I mean, I had a light, a camera, and a microphone. That's all I had. Because I was trying to, I had this camcorder I was trying to film on, and I borrowed that. And then
I respected it. I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
It's just like, so I learned how to do that. I taught myself how to do it, and I did it. And then okay, then TikTok. Oh, open a TikTok. How does this TikTok work? How does that algorithm work?
Right.
And I would study, Instagram, all these kind of things. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I was determined to say, I want to help. If this is the way people are being helped in this day and age,
right,
then I need to figure this stuff out and do it.
Right.
So I didn't spend money because I couldn't, because I didn't have didn't have that money that I could spend on it.
Right.
But at the same time, I wasn't guaranteed that income when I came on. Now I had a house by the lake, like around the lake, had a boat, all this kind of stuff.
Right.
But yet I was willing because I said, I figured out I had X number, I can do this for 6 months, right?
Yeah.
And then I come to it's starvation time, right? But I knew that if I didn't do it at that time, if I didn't do it now, and I always say like this, if not now, then when?
Yeah. That's true.
Like, if not now, then when? And so it's like, no, I want to do this. So why not do it?
Yeah.
when I was wanting to move to Florida, so I I went out. You wouldn't even know these people, but anyway, I went out to this guy's house. This guy owned a big business out there, and I was working for a company in Winnipeg, and I had to flew to Tampa Bay.
Okay.
So I was in Tampa Bay, or Tampa, Florida, and I went for dinner at his house, and we're sitting in the back, and it was spring training out there, and I was a big baseball nut, big sports guy.
Okay.
And there was a guy who used to play for. What did he play for? Was it the Phillies? Anyway, his name was Lenny Dykstra. He's a little cocky little dude,
Okay.
right? And anyway, so and I'll bring it up in a minute. So anyway, I go to this company. We did some business during the day, and he says, "Why don't you come back to my place for a barbecue?" No problem. So I went had a barbecue at his place. So I'm sitting around the pool in January. He's barbecuing some steaks, and this golf cart pulls up, and I look over and I'm like, oh my God, I know that guy. Why would I know this guy? I'm in Tampa, Florida. Why would I know that guy? But I know him. Like, I wanted to say hi to him. Like, hey, how's it going? Right. And all of a sudden I looked at, and it's Lenny Dykstra. And he was like this all-star baseball player. And he's all mad. He stomps up to the thing, and he has a $100 bill, and he crumples it up like just, and he throws it like at the pool. Like, yeah. And this Mark that I was with, the guy that owned the home in the business, he starts laughing, and I said, what the hell was that? Was that Lenny Dykstra? He goes, yeah, that's Len. That's Len. And I'm like, okay, what's that all about? Yeah. He goes, well, we were playing $100 a hole, and he lost on the golf course today. And I'm like, oh man, that's really cool. And I'm looking at this guy, and he's like, I'm like, so you're out golfing today with, an all-star baseball player, and now we're having a barbecue around the pool in January, and at home I would be shoveling the walk and be locked up. And anyway, I said, man, you've got all the breaks, man. Like lucky you. Like you obviously you're born here, and damn, why was I born somewhere nice as this? Yeah. And he says, excuse me? And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. He says, my wife and I were on a vacation here. And he says, we were from St. Louis, I think, St. Louis. And we came out in January and for a vacation, and we fell in love with it.
Wow.
And he said, we said, yeah, why not? So we went back, and they had a company that had 40 employees that were working for them. And they walked in on Monday and said, we are moving the office.
What?
Yeah, from St. Louis to Tampa.
Wow.
And we'll move all of you. We'll move all your, we'll pay for your moving. We'll bring the whole office there. If you want to come, come on down. And if you don't, that's okay. And I think 30 out of 40 all moved there.
Wow.
And I looked at this guy as I sat there as a starry-eyed, newly married, actually, 24-year-old or 22-year-old, 23-year-old. And I went, you can do that? Like, you can just move? Like, you can just take your company and say, screw it, I want to be somewhere nice?
Yeah.
Like, you can live this way just because? And I'm like, what the hell's wrong with me?
That. Yeah.
Like, what am I doing, right? So I came back to Canada, and I came back to Canada, and I'm like, okay, that's it. We're moving to Florida.
Wow.
Like, we're going to go.
Yeah.
And I'm big into manifestation and stuff like that. And I actually had a $5 bill, American bill, and I put it in my pillowcase. I slept on it for like a year because I went to immigration, and they said, "Yeah, you're never moving to the United States."
What?
And I'm like, pardon me?
Yeah.
And they're like, unless you have a PhD or
right.
And I'm like, no. And I'm like, what profession are you in? I'm like, well, I'm a sales manager and stuff. They said, now this is a hockey reference, but they said, unless you're the Wayne Gretzky of sales in Canada, you ain't getting to the United States.
They're like, we got sales guys, thanks.
Yeah, you're not coming. And I'm like, and I'm like, so I went like, I guess I'm moving to the States. I'm like, no, I'm moving to the States, right? So I started researching visas, and I started researching everything else, and I found out there was 2 visas were one of the easier ones to get, and that was entertainment visas and religious visas. And I said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. So I set up a corporation in the United States and set up a corporation in Canada, and I did all the paperwork, and I basically transferred myself from my one corporation in Canada to my one corporation in the United States, and moved my family to Florida.
Wow.
And I did it, right?
That's incredible.
With nothing. And everybody's like, oh my God, I cannot believe you're doing this. There's hurricanes there. You're going to die. I was married at the time. Both our families didn't want to speak to us. They didn't. We're nuts. We're crazy, and everything else. And had the most glorious time. I love Florida.
That's incredible.
Move back there and have a second. It's just gorgeous. So yeah, but big risk, man.
Yeah,
big risk. But that's the difference between somebody that is going to live out their dream. So the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. So you have to balance it. Like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? The worst thing that's going to happen is it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, what's bad about that? Well, am I going to be embarrassed? Everybody's going to say, I told you so, right? Told you so, told you so. Why would you do that? Maybe behind on some bills, maybe you owe some money. I don't know, whatever those worst things are. And the reality is that every time you fail, you face those things. But I don't come here and I don't tell you about the 5 times I didn't do it.
Right.
I'm just telling you about the 3 or 4 times that were super great.
Yeah.
There, I had some failures along the way, but they didn't break me. I'm not living on the streets. I'm not,
Right.
my parents always would say, oh my God, you're going to be on the corner and you've been begging for change. Well, I've never done that yet.
It's never gotten that bad.
No, it's never been that bad. But,
Also, the other thing that you were saying is the worst thing that's going to happen is you have to start over. But you're also in a place where you might have to just start over anyways, no matter where you are in life, right?
If you're not happy where you are, man, you have to start over. There's so many people stuck in a 9-to-5 job that they hate.
Yeah,
they hate it. Now, and everybody's like, because they're working at McDonald's and wish they were running the president. And I'm not saying that you can get everything you want, but you have to start lining yourself up into the things that are going to build into your future, right? So there's people that working at McDonald's hate it because they don't want to be in the restaurant business. They want to be in IT or they want to be doing something else. Well, then you need to, take that, whatever it is, wherever you live, 10, 15 hour job, an hour job, and go get a 10 to 15 hour IT job.
Yeah.
Oh no, in IT they make $50 an hour. I wouldn't do that. Well, you have to.
Yeah.
What's the difference? At least you're in something that you like, and there's potential for you to grow into it and be noticed and seen and move forward in that.
Right.
Now, you learn lessons and you learn things in everything you do. So I'm not saying McDonald's is a bad place to work. I have many, many, many friends high up in the corporate world that started at McDonald's. And they said it was the best training they ever had. So I mean, if you're working with great people, you can learn great skills. Right? In an industry that you're not really passionate about. But you learn those skills and then you move on to the next thing. You don't get stuck in those places. Or you end up loving it and you stay, and that's great. I mean, I have, friends that own McDonald's, and started out when we were kids working at the teller, or at the cashier,
right?
With all their pimples, and I hate this, there's grease everywhere, and I'm getting pimples all the time.
Right.
But and it was the best thing they ever did. But they got a knack for it. They enjoyed it, and really that also came with the right people in the right place to train them, help them, guide them, mentor them, and move on. But you take what you learn and move on. And the thing is, if you're unhappy in what you're doing, so you're telling me you're unhappy, it's not the career you want to be in, then you have to go, man.
Yeah.
There's no point in dragging it out. There's no point in trying to toughen it out. And then you ask yourself, why? Why am I toughing it out?
Yeah.
What is it? Oh, because what will my parents think? What will my friends think? Oh my God, I've had 3 different jobs in the last year. What are they going to say? They're going to think it's because of this. They're going to think it's because of that. They're going to think yeah, they are. You're right, they are. And I'm sitting here telling you, I have a great relationship with my mom and dad, and there has been decades where they thought I was the craziest person alive and told me to my face that I was going to fail.
That's very reassuring, actually, to hear. Actually, I think there's a lot of probably younger people like me who maybe they are in a similar position where it's like, if only I had the courage to take that step. But my parents put so much time into raising me, it would be a shame to let them down.
Oh yeah, it's all about their life. It's all about making them happy, right?
Right.
I'm going to be miserable as long as when they pass away,
they're happy.
They knew that they did a good job with me. Come on, man. That's the problem with
that's my morning mantra.
There you go. But that's the problem with today. Half of us are blaming our families, our parents, for where we're at in life.
Yeah.
And the other half are just trying to appease them and make sure they know that they aren't to be blamed for anything. Right? But it's not their life.
Yeah.
It's not their life.
Yeah.
It's not. Okay, so think about this. As a 50-year-old man.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, as a 50-year-old, you tell your 75-year-old father, okay, who got you started in business, 40 years ago. No, 50. No, 40. No, I'm 52.
Right.
Whew. Yikes!
Close.
I was like 35 years ago. Where that might get you a little sales rep, from a friend, and put you on that path, and then you start making your way. When you tell your 50 years old, you tell your 75-year-old father, hey, I'm leaving this job. You know, I'm the boss,
Yeah.
but I'm leaving. Did you get something better? No, I don't have anything else. What are you going to do? I'm going to make YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram videos. Oh, you think that? What?
I imagine there was a follow-up conversation.
Oh, many.
Yeah.
Many. It doesn't end, man. But it's okay because I expect it to come. So I don't have false expectations. I know everybody's going to try to talk me out of it. I know they're going to think I'm mad. They're going to think that I've lost my mind. And so that's what I expect them to do. And they fulfill that. And I'm okay. I'm like, hey, I expected that. Cool.
Yeah.
Now, you got a thick skin to do it.
Sure.
And you have to be able to, be around people that are motivating you, people that are helping you. And you got to, be motivating yourself because it's a tougher grind. But those people that were the biggest, this is what I found in my ventures in life, the people that were your biggest distractor, people that were the most, they're doing it because they care, they're fearful, they want you to be okay, right?
Yeah.
But the world's different than it was then, right? It's not, there's not a lot of people nowadays your age that are going to go and work for a company and stay there for 45 years and retire.
Yeah.
It's just not happening anymore. So it's a whole different world. But the people that were and so they're doing this because they care. Some do it because they just want to be idiots, or they don't want you to be like your friends. They'll be the ones that are jealous.
Yeah, we don't want you.
Why
to
can't I do
succeed.
that? Yeah, you shouldn't do that, right? Yeah. But the parents or family, good friends are like, oh my God, are you going to be okay? And this is going to be horrible. And they care about you, but it's funny how they react as a negative, like it's not going to work. Right? What are you doing? You can't do that. Why not? Right? What they're saying is it's not going to work.
Right.
It's not long term. It's not going to work. It's not going to, it's not a career. It's not this and that. But what you'll find is the same people that, after 10 years of being in Florida and traveling all across the country, speaking, incredible business I built there. Those people are the same people that are the most proud of it. They're like, wow.
That's incredible.
They don't tell you that though, because then it's like they were wrong.
Right.
But you'll hear them tell other people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my son. Yeah, he was up in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, he started a company. Oh my God. Yes. Yeah. Oh no, they're in New York now. Oh, they're in LA now. Oh, they're over here now. Right. Oh, they're talking in Texas next week.
So then that leap of faith becomes something they get to brag about.
Yeah, but they still, depending on the type of person they are. Yeah. If they're old school, they won't tell you.
Yeah.
They're still like, I don't know. Are you sure?
Still waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah, and they don't mean bad by it. They just do it. But
some people just out of concern might try to block you. But I think that's natural for a lot of people. People who care about them. Yeah.
It's all right because they can't.
Yeah.
All they can do is try to feed you fear and words, right? And they're going to try to grab onto you and change your mind and try to push you to do something. But they ultimately, if you're determined, they can't. And if you want to succeed in whatever you're doing, you have to be determined anyway.
Yeah.
So you might as well come up. I'm that type of person. When someone says you can't do it, like
just fires you up.
Oh, like that was the bad thing to say.
Yeah.
Because now I have to do it.
I feel the same way.
Like I have to, and I will shove it down your throat. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I went up to my dad and said, "Hey, Dad, I'm thinking about leaving my job, but I'm going to start doing some videos on social media, and when I get to certain many followers, then I'm going to leave my job." My dad would be like, "Okay." Everybody should have a hobby, right?
Yeah.
And it'd be, okay. But when he said, like, "You're effing nuts," like to my face, like spit on me.
Really?
You're effing nuts.
Wow.
What's going to happen? I went, oh, yeah. Okay, man, I'll show you.
Yeah.
And then that's my drive and determination to feed off of that, because now it's not the right way to feed, but I do it anyway. And it's just because I want to.
Motivation is motivation.
However you're motivated, take it, use it. Right? So you use those people. You expect it to happen.
Yeah.
If it motivates you when someone says you can't do it, so you want people to say you can't do it. So it's not funny. You're motivated by it. So deep down, you should want people to say you're nuts and crazy, because you can't do this. If I get to do it, but yet we don't want to do it because we don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Right. It's this weird thing. So I'll say it to you, and I'll say it to you like this: is that again? There's my little one-liners all the time. So if not now, then when?
Yeah.
And he can say, well, I'll do it next year. I'll do it. This happens. Nothing's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Nothing's guaranteed. And the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. And stop. And I don't mean this directly to you. I'm just people. We all do this. Stop living your life for other people. Stop trying to make them happy when we're not happy. Stop. Don't take a risk because what are they going to think? What are they going to do? Well, they're, you know what? I would turn around and say, hey, mom and dad, thank you. I thank you for that. You're helping me out right now and what I'm doing. Obviously, I'm not really happy. I'm not that happy, but I appreciate your helping me out because I don't know what I would do if I didn't have this.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Can we just take this one more step? Because you're helping me out now, but this is my dream. It's almost like an investment in your dream.
Yeah.
And if they say no, then it fires you up. And if they say yes, then it helps you out. Either way, it's just really all you're doing is just buying time. Because if you are determined, I firmly believe this. If you're passionate, you're determined, you have some knowledge of what you want to do, you're skilled in it, they take your passion and your skill, and you put those two together, you can't fail.
No. Yeah.
It just doesn't fail. You teach yourself, you learn how to do things, you do the right things, you hone your skill, and it works. It's just like this weird thing.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. I mean, if you're passionate about something, you care about the product, like that's part of it. And if you can find the skill, if you have the skills for it, I mean, that's a recipe for amazing things, right?
Exactly. And you know what? If it wasn't there, a lot of times maybe it's not the right time. So for me, I've stepped out a few times and that wasn't the right time. And so I didn't like my job anyway, which I was going to leave anyway. So now I'll go and get a different job anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of jobs. I'll go find a job, and I find a job, and I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Because if you're not happy anyway, and you're going to leave it anyway, then take a chance. In the meantime, hammer down.
Yeah.
And do the thing why not?
Might as well.
Why not?
Might as well. You're going to be looking for a job anyways. Might as well.
Why not? Right. But the thing is to really remember too. It's like you got to be persistent. You got to be. You can't procrastinate. You just got to go 2 feet in.
Just got to claw your way
and
through
it is like, man. And if you want to start something from scratch, it's you work 18 hours. So here you go backwards now.
Sure.
So I leave this my big job there, and so I managed a team. Like I had 300 people that worked for me, indirectly.
Mm-hmm.
I had a team of like 16 that worked, or 8 that worked directly for me. Then teams all the way down.
Right.
And so I had a whole bunch of responsibility, but I was able to kind of work that into like 8 hours a day. Maybe 6 some days, on Fridays,
right.
on a sunny day, right? And after a long lunch, and so then I started making videos.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I was working like almost 20 hours a day, and I know that sounds like I was working 20 hours a day because I didn't realize I'd sit there and film the video. So this 10-minute video would take me probably 4 or 5 hours to film because I had the right angles and set it up and I cut, check. I mean, I'm not a professional, and I didn't turn the volume on that time and I have to redo it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit of a perfectionist too, which is bad because I'll be like, no, I didn't like that. Oh, my hair was out of place there. And then that was just the beginning.
Yeah.
Right now, I had to try to edit. Well, I didn't know how to edit stuff, so I had to buy an editing thing. I had to learn how to use that. And I had to learn how to do, roll cuts. I had to learn where to get B-roll, how to add B-roll, how to edit this, and how to pull these things together, how to skip check, how to go backwards, how to do the volume. I mean, add graphics, add things, have the right amount of time, add subtitles, add captions, all this stuff. I would go to bed with my laptop on my chest, downloading the video to social media, hoping it was going to be there in the morning when I got there, and then just crashed my head down.
Wow.
And then I was up the next morning and start all over again. And then I had to pick up the end. Now I didn't know. I had to find keywords and SEO, and I had to write headlines, and I had to,
all the things.
And I'm just gonna say this just for fun because not for fun. I'm going to say it this way, and this just on my own little thing I'm saying now.
Mm-hmm.
So you work your butt off 20 hours a day like that to get up there and to start getting followers, or not getting followers, but helping people. It's really all I want to do is help people, right?
Yeah.
And by me just chasing my passion to help people,
and
then people followed and things started happening, and brands started reaching out and trying to offer brand deals and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden you look up on Instagram and TikTok, and you have like dummy sites of you.
Wow.
If you go on, and this is the actual doing life today on whatever you're watching on or listening on. But if you go on TikTok, there's 3 different people, like,
really,
and there's my pictures, there's my videos, there's everything, and it's so it's like, what are you doing? And that was just a total side note. Then that an irritant.
Yeah, I can imagine. After all that work, and then someone's trying to come in.
But it's a compliment, I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
They don't copy someone who's not doing good things.
That's right.
Right? So it's good. But anyway, my whole point is I wanted to help people in a way that was communicated the way that it is nowadays, which was through like social media and podcasts and videos.
Yeah.
And I just stepped out and started doing it. And the results start to follow. Some are really, really slow.
Yeah.
Like there's some are really hard and slow, but you keep that end goal and you keep hammering down and you keep going and you keep growing and growing and growing and growing as yourself, and you get better and better and better at your skill. And the better you get, the quicker it gets, right? And then you can expand things.
Mm-hmm. All these things start weaving together.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, man. When I look back, I was at my last job. It was like I was 10 years in, and where I'm at today, a couple years later, I wish I would have left 5 years in.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I would have had that. It took me like the guts to jump when I want, because I'm so happy. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I love what I do now.
Mm-hmm.
I love being able, again, helping people, and
purpose.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. And I'm not making as much as I made there,
right?
But I'm making enough that I'm okay. It doesn't matter. Money's not the only thing. But I'm fulfilled at the end of the day.
That's the big thing.
At the end of the day, I can go to bed. I can lay my head down. It sounds so cliche, but and say, oh, now it's cool. Like not like every day is great or you don't have bad days, but you know what? At the end of the day, I'm happy with. I'm so glad I took the risk.
That's awesome.
That's all I can say. It's like if you're feeling it again, you just think about those things and work them into your mantras and different things you do in the morning. Like what, I'm so glad that this is happening in my life. Or start kind of priming yourself up, right, and priming to get there. And man, it will, man.
I'm excited. I'm inspired.
I've heard you talk about podcasts. So you're a friend of my kids, right?
That's right.
And I remember even T and Ashton way back when we were talking about like, we're just going to do a podcast. We're going to do a podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's awesome, man. Like that's great. Where's the podcast? Like I want I want to hear it. I want to listen to it. So
right.
I mean, it's been in your thing. It's something that you've wanted to do, and so now you just analyze that. Where am I at with it? Is it where I wanted to go? Or have things been leading to a point in time that it's either here now or not here now. It's only you're the only one that can determine that. But if everything lines up to a point and saying, oh my gosh, again, if it doesn't work, this could happen. If it does work, this could happen.
Yeah.
Balance that risk and reward and see what it's going to be. But I say all that, and it's not easy. I would love someone said this one to me time. They said it's simple, but it's not easy.
Oh, that's interesting. I like that. That's
kind of weird.
Simple, but it's not easy.
Simple, but it's not easy.
Wow. Well, thank you for taking the time today to talk to all of us and inspire us. I really appreciate that.
Right on. Well, that's the least I could do.
If you're listening to this, then I guess it turns out we did end up making a podcast today. I appreciate that. Follow us on all the social medias. Anything else you want to say, Bryce?
Yeah. Thank you. Anybody who's watching, listening, wherever you are, we love you, appreciate you so much.
So much.
It's just, you're like the prophecy that you're fulfilling the prophecy. It's like, want to help people. And if you're getting something from this, I really appreciate it. Follow us or like us or hit the like buttons. Whatever. I hate those. Smash the smash button. Smash the smash button. But like us, follow us. Share with your friends and family. If you got something from this, I know there might be somebody out there that is going through the same things.
Totally.
And if you someone has a friend or family member, share this with them.
Yeah,
give it to them. Let it go. And
I definitely got something from it. I hope that everyone there does too.
Well, we got great things coming up at Doing Life Today as well. So make sure you follow us at Doing Life Today, all the social media channels, wherever you might be. Also, link in the bio or the description of this video. There's a link there where you can ask us questions. You want to ask a question for the podcast? Go ahead. Let's do it. Let's do some Q&As. Yeah, absolutely. So grab that link and
that'd be fantastic.
Talk to us.
Now, before we go,
final
thing. Do you have a challenge for me for next week?
Wow, I do.
Throwing you under the bus here.
I know. No, that's really good.
Okay.
I think what I would really like you to do this week is I would like you to. I'm really happy that you did with doing your 5 gratifications. So I want to continue that a little bit because we're not quite there. So what I want you to do is I want you to mod them up now. Okay. I want you to either I want to make sure you take this week and be proud that you did what you did.
Okay.
Because if you're not going to get that cookie moment, you're not going to be proud of yourself.
Take a bit of a
So I want you to do that. I want you to be proud, do the thing. And you've had this was like a double. I can't even give you like a really hard challenge this week.
I appreciate that.
Because and I'm just hoping that anybody's playing along doing the challenge as well, and you had a great week as well. So what I want you to do is I want you to reward yourself this week.
Okay.
And I want you to maybe take it a step further. You did 5, maybe move it up to 6 or 7, right? So again, a couple things you're grateful for. Couple things that you're really happy in your life, couple things that you really want to change in your life. Maybe there's something you want to change, and so and maybe they're like the same way you did the balloon, right? You were fearful of something, you stepped out and did it, and no matter why you did it. So it's the same thing, it's like, hey, going back even to our conversation with work, with your job and stuff. Maybe write some stuff down like this is what I'm going to, and kind of like just build yourself up.
Sure,
right?
Okay.
I love podcasts. I've always wanted to do it. I'm so good at doing it. It's my career. I'm going to make it my career. Right? That type of thing. I'm just going to, that's the first thing you're seeing every morning, filling it up. But let's move it up to like 6 or 7 or 8.
Okay.
I would love to do 10, but I don't know. But I want you to do it at your pace and what you're comfortable with. So either take the ones off you don't want that you're good with.
Yeah.
Laud the ones that you did right, kind of move them down the list and say, I'm glad I did this.
Okay.
I'm so proud of myself for this. I'm so proud of myself for this. Now, this is the things that I'm going to work on today.
And everyone at home, too.
Let's do it.
Too.
Yeah, let's do it.
First thing in the morning, before you get anything else in your body.
I love it. And send us a DM or put in the comments, what is it? What are your things that you're going to do this week? What are you going to kind of focus on?
Yeah.
Do it every morning. First thing, if you can. The first thing that your eyes see is that I'm grateful for this. I'm moving towards this, and this is what's going to happen in my life. Very first thing.
I love it.
Right on?
All right. Thanks so
buddy.
much.
Have a good one.
Thank you. We'll see you guys
talk
next
later.
week.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.